And we're live.
Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
everybody. Really quick, happy birthday, Sharon.
Happy
Happy birthday
birthday to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you. Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday,
dear
dear
Sharon.
Sharon. Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to you.
to
Okay, I
you.
know I can't
And
sing
many, many more. Oh my God,
more.
like I can?
Yeah, well, you're more in tune than me.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
let's congratulate Sherry. She's got at the 250 mark
I
for her
just hit
subscribers.
254. Yeah,
Whoop, 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 whoop. So good for Sherry as
I am
well.
excited.
Lots to celebrate.
Let me get
Oh,
my chat
so how
popped
was
out
your
here.
vacation?
This way I can talk to everybody. And
Looking to see if I have. Now, did I make you a moderator? I have my phone open. I can
um
do that right now if you're
yeah,
not.
I'm a moderator.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a moderator. Why am I
And
frozen? Oh no.
hello,
Okay, there I am.
Priscilla. Welcome, welcome.
Okay.
And I think Ron might be lurking back and forth between different shows because we have
Oh,
so much
there's like
going
three
on.
or four people that are all on
Yep.
live right now. So
I have
I
great
know
timing, don't I, Sherry?
yeah, I tell you, when you pick it, you pick it good.
I picked it
Um
good.
uh Kelly, not Kelly, Deb H, Purple
Teresa.
Elephant, had Sun Psychic Jean on today. And when I was getting ready to leave there, I told everybody, I said, hey, I'm gonna be over on Heather's channel. Y'all come over at 7:30. So,
Yep. Say hi, sit for a few.
and
I have just been having a blast, Shan and I, with this Discovery Plus app that I downloaded. It's like $7 a month, and I get
oh
to
cool.
watch all these shows, and they're mostly all on the Travel Channel. And the Travel Channel has a lot of like the paranormal, the UFO, and all other sorts of
Stuff. Yeah, I'm,
paranormal,
I'm right here.
metaphysical stuff.
I'm trying to pull up the show on my YouTube.
Um,
Oh, there we are. Okay, cool. This
and
way
there's
I can
this.
go in and I can blast it out on all of my social media and say, y'all come over to Heather's channel right now.
Wow, you gonna have to teach me how to do that at some point behind camera. I'm still
Oh
learning
yeah,
how to do that.
it's easy. I mean, once I have the YouTube channel open, then there's a button underneath that you can share. And you click on that button and it gives you the option of
Oh,
when you click on share, you have the option of Facebook, Twitter,
oh,
just
that's
copy
right.
in the link. Um, and so I tend to like just go in
Oh, I see. Well, duh.
and blast it. So um, that's what I am going to do right
There we go.
now.
Instagram. Oh, there we go.
If I can get my no
Share.
are live
The only thing is, when I do that,
now.
I have to share it to individual people. It won't let me just share it on my page, on my Instagram account.
Yeah, Instagram is weird. I don't know how to make it do on Instagram. Um,
Okay, well, I should have looked in on that one.
I can do it on I can do it on Facebook and Twitter. And
Oh, I don't do the twit or the tweet or whatever you want to call it. Oh, come on now, let me back. Okay. So while you're doing that, I have been watching this really, Chad and I have been watching this program called Expedition Bigfoot. And this is not one of those like silly shows where, people are doing, the funny calls and this and that and over dramatics and whatnot. This is an actual professional research team that was
yeah,
put together, and the head, one of the lead investigators, is actually Dr. Mira. Um, I want to say Monroe. I could be wrong. I've been watching it for how long? I can't remember Mira's last name, but
I
she
can't ever remember any of their
she
names.
was the she actually made headlines a few years back by discovering an unknown primate in the Amazon. So she
Very
wanted to get
good.
right onto this, and it's all like they've been giving high tech equipment. They're using algorithms. I mean, it's very professional. It's sharply put together, and we were watching some today, and I had some questions popping up in my head about the big guy, the Bigfoot, the big feet,
There you
and the
go.
families. So I asked Shari if she would be interested in, reading
And
some
I was
more.
just telling Mark last night when we had wrapped up our reading, and I was like, I said it's gotten to the point now where if I go more than a couple of days and I'm not physically handling my cards, I feel it in my hands.
Yeah.
It's almost like a withdrawal in my
Mm-hmm.
hands, like
Your
when you
hands are
start.
itching to pick up them
Yeah,
cards. Get
it's
that
like I
energy
gotta,
going.
even if all I do is just shuffle them a few times, it's just like, no, you gotta go get your cards, and
Yep.
y'all don't look at my mess behind me. I didn't cover up my
Oh
junk
my
table.
God. You want to talk about a mess? I mean, come on. You can't really see what I
Got my
got
junk
going on.
table over here on this side.
Jeez.
There we go. Yeah, right
There's a
there.
mess because I was doing
Yeah,
a late night craft
got
with Tangi on
got
her
all my
channel.
fingernail stuff, and because I do my own nails, I do
Ooh,
gel
I was
nails.
never good at. I was never good at
Yeah,
that.
I do my own nails, and so for
I look
4th of
awful.
July, I did the stars and stripes. Let's see, I did red, white, and blue. Well, I did red and blue fingers, and then my thumbs, I did the stars and the stripes. If I
Wow,
can get
look at you.
I was at
Anybody
the
needs to
store
have
the
their
other day,
nails
and the
done? Go
girls,
to Shari.
the girl checking me out was like, "Where did you get your nails done?" I said, "At home." She said, "You didn't get that? Pay somebody to do that?" I said, "No, I did it myself." I said, "You can't tell. I can't draw a straight line worth crap. It's the
Very good.
most crooked flag you'll ever see." And but yeah, I was just sitting here thinking to myself, am I gonna go on and maybe like
I know it was kind of last minute. Well, not super
well,
last minute,
I was,
but
and the thing is there were several people with lives on tonight that was like, who do I pick to watch without running 3 live all at the same time, and then I don't catch anybody.
I can't do that.
And sometimes if I'm just want to moderate and I can watch later,
Mhm.
I'll do 2 or 3 at once and I just watch the chat rooms. But that's about it. And
Hi, son.
oh, my brother.
I mean, brother.
Yeah, where'd she go?
Oh, Mew Mew.
The dog's under here.
I need the dog now.
Come see. Go see
My
Kate.
apologies. Come here.
Go see. Oh, somebody
Aw.
didn't know.
Oh, she's gotten so big.
No, that was a dog.
Oh,
That was the dog. She's not that big. She still fits
oh
in my
my
hand.
God.
Huh?
But how is the little one? I'm trying to remember her name.
No.
Minu.
Oh, he's getting in
Minya.
trouble. He went and poopied in the bedroom.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. You see that? Again.
He's getting punished.
Oh no. Oh,
He went and
I
poopied
think
all in my
that's
brother's
so.
room.
I
He
know,
went
but
and poopied in the bedroom. So he's getting in trouble.
oh dear. Oh.
Then let's see. I'm gonna do
So
bubbly.
yeah, I had while we were watching this one video today, they've been having during the whole season with they went to Central Oregon first, then they went to northeastern Kentucky, because what they did is they input um, years and years of Bigfoot sightings,
Okay,
different
here,
locations,
baby.
and um, they did algorithms, and it actually created a pattern, like a migration pattern. And then on another location, on top of that, they put, what vegetation for fruits and vegetables and for games and stuff that would go.
Yeah,
And they were creating these scientific algorithms. And so they had chosen Central Oregon. They went to northeastern Kentucky, and their last one was in Washington State, but they had to cut that one short because of the unprecedented wildfires from last year, or the year before, 2020. And they had to get out of there because the area that they were filming in was starting to fill with smoke and whatnot.
yeah,
But they were getting this incredible evidence and footage. And one of the stories was behind it. not just with witness stories or legends passed down from especially the Native American peoples in the area, where one minute they see a Bigfoot in front of them or within, or a little bit off in the distance, and then just automatically it's gone.
Yeah.
And so
The
they're like,
ability it has to camouflage itself, whether
exactly.
it just walks through a portal or just camouflages. I don't know which one it is, but
But there was another option that was brought up because of the technology now that scientists are actually able to create cloaking um, devices, using like papers and fabrics and stuff. They're now learning how to reflect light and and
I'm so upset.
being able to cloak themselves. And one of the investigators said, well, maybe is it possible that the Bigfoot species, and I'm going to say, because I mean, there's no way you cannot believe in this with all the evidence that's out there. Aw. And it's possible that they have learned maybe not just
I'm
portals,
listening to you, I promise.
but they're learning how to curve or manipulate their fur to refract the light so that, you know, one minute it's there in front of you and then the next minute it's not. It's adapted over all these hundreds and maybe thousands of years and being able to hide itself. So there was a multitude of, like, not a huge multitude of questions, but
Well, I have a good friend, and I know I've mentioned him to you before. I think I sent you his channel.
yes,
He's
I have
got a
not been
channel
there yet.
here, Phantoms and Monsters is the
Yes.
name of his channel. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a website. He does like a daily newsletter. Um, and it's not just Bigfoot he covers. I mean, he covers any kind of
Everything.
paranormal, anything. Um, but he has connections all around the globe. I mean, he's been doing this for like
Hmm.
30, 40 years. You know, he's my age. He's in
Hmm.
his 60s. Um, and when his wife passed away about, I guess about 5 or 6 years ago, his wife passed away, and
Um,
I know he went through a really rough time with it. And uh, right after that happened, then his dad died, and uh, uh, he the stepmom, I guess you could say, uh, kicked him and his son out of the house, out of his dad's house. The house was supposed to go to him. His dad had told him the house is going to you.
oh, he has to put that in writing.
And yeah, it wasn't. And so he went
That
through a
biatch.
rough couple of years, and I didn't know if he was going to keep up his channel and stuff at the time or not.
Hmm.
And we're talking, yeah, it's been years ago, probably longer than 5 years. It's probably closer to 10 years that all of this happened, you know. So then one day the newsletter started back up again,
Well, that's good.
and I was like, good, you know,
He
he's
needs an
getting back
outlet
into
to
it.
get back into his, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing actually more, like, going on some of these trips with some of the connections he's got. But
That's
there's
good.
he interviews and has people on his channel all the time
Ooh,
who do
very
this
cool.
stuff for a living. It's like this is all they do is
He
they
might have
research.
actually had some of the people that were in this team or people that he
Probably so.
contacted. But what
Probably
I
so.
was interested in asking was if one of the reasons why the big feet or Bigfoot can disappear so quickly, not just by portals, but by the use of cloaking using their fur and learning how to bend their bodies, manipulate their fur to refract the light to make them invisible, like scientists are now discovering how to do. And they
Yep.
actually had footage on the show showing how scientific um, videos of them creating, cloaking by adjusting, you know,
How they
the way
stand. Yeah.
the surfaces manipulate. So I thought that would be a really cool question to ask, along with, the portals, because I'm thinking it could be several things. You know,
I
they're able
mean,
to do
I've
that,
I've
portals.
read and heard people talk about everything from, it's portals to their alien
Mm-hmm.
creatures
Oh yeah, me too.
that are here, that they're ancient creatures that have been here since before mankind. They just know how to manipulate
Their
time and
environment.
location, and they can, like earthly portals. They can literally walk in Oregon and go through a portal in there in West Virginia. That kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that said before. I've heard a gazillion thoughts and
Yeah.
ideas and suppositions, and um, there's
And they're fun to explore because it gets your mind working, gets your,
yeah.
I
It's
mean, it's
like
fascinating.
I said in the email to you, as it's like I can't say that they're real, but I can't say that they're not. I've never seen one.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Shan has. My Shan
never
has.
gone looking for one. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I want to see one. It's kind of
Well,
scary,
one of the locations
unless
that
they're really nice and they just are scary to bad people.
yeah,
Which
I think
again
it takes a
depends
little
on
bit of
who you're
both.
listening to as to what that might be. But I think it's intriguing that after all this time and all of the photographic evidence that has been found, and
Hmm.
footprints and hair samples, and that
Yeah.
can't be diagnosed when brought
That's why
in.
I highly recommend this show because
And
everything that they
it's like,
come across, they collect and they're sending it out. And scientists are coming back with, well, this comes from a primate. And they're like, but we're in Central Oregon, we're in Washington State. How did it get there? And they're like, we don't know.
yeah,
So evidence is building. And Dr.
and
Myra, she
maybe
actually,
that's where primates came from, was
and
Bigfoot,
Dr.
or vice
Myra
versa. You
wants
know,
to explore and I thought this would get your attention because they were asked for the next season. They asked three of the main people in the research team, where would you like to go next to investigate? And the Dr. Mira, the one who discovered that new species of primate a couple of years ago, she says she wants to investigate the Louisiana Texas border because there are a lot of sightings in that area too during the
not
year.
just of the Rougarou either, but of the
Yeah,
dogman.
yeah. And I
And
got to tell Shari about that.
uh, I actually sat through, and this was, wow, several years back before Mama passed away.
Ooh,
Um, there was a channel. He calls it Dark Waters. It's a guy out of New Orleans. He's mostly on the paranormal side of things, but he's got one of those voices, like a James Earl Jones kind of voice,
yeah, Dark
and he
Waters.
can tell ghost stories and stuff that will make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, just because he's got the right kind of voice.
Yeah.
But he comes from a family of voodoo practitioners and stuff.
I wrote that word down
And
before and I couldn't remember who made me, because I had Dark Waters written down and I was like, what's this?
that's a channel.
And I forgot. And that's the YouTube
I
channel.
started listening to him back before he had a channel. He would come on the Paranormal View on Para X Radio. And that's how I met Lon, who has Phantoms and Monsters. It was because he did a show on Para X. And I'm
I've
sure
heard of
he's,
Paramax.
yeah, it's Para PA. I'll put it in the chat. But it's X.
Yeah, Priscilla posted that Jen's
But
World, Jen,
in
actually did
World,
a
Jen's had some
meditation.
experiences, yeah. And
Very cool. And that's there
and
for
you,
everybody to take a look at.
yeah, they have, and you run a gambit there from people that do what mostly we do, read cards, psychics, read
Hmm.
auras, that kind of stuff, to all the way to another extreme of
Yeah, because I
Bigfoot
don't have the
hunting.
ability right now to be able to channel or pick up clear. I don't have the clairvoyance to be able to, you know, get that kind of information where you see
Yeah,
some,
one of the
I
things
get
that
my information from the cards. That's how
one
I
of the
get
things
mine.
that Mark told me last night, and he's not the only one that's told me this, was that I was uh, claircognizant. That's the one where you just know. You don't know how you know, you just know. And I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of how I'll say, well, I just heard, but there's not a voice I hear. It's just I know it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
somebody whispered it in my head, but I never heard a voice. Um, Now, when I was a little girl, I would talk to, I thought it was God. That's what I called him. It was probably one of my
Your
angels,
guides, or it could have been
one of my
your
one of my
higher
birth
power, your
angels, or one
God.
of my guides, um, that would talk to me and sounded like James Earl Jones. And that was before I knew who that man was. I was like 4 or
I'm
5.
talking to Darth Vader.
And yeah, I mean, 20 years later, I might would have had that response, but at the time, that was before any of that
check
stuff was.
check out what Priscilla just posted.
Had a visit.
So
Oh,
Priscilla, what state do you live in, or was it spiritually in like in spirit form? Um, it's 3 times. Wow.
that's cool.
Because
That's
I'm
really cool.
wondering if some of the sightings that people see over all the after all these hundreds of years is that you know how when we die we have spirits that roam the earth or we have spirit that comes to. So I'm wondering if maybe some of the sightings where they disappear so quickly that could be just spirits coming and showing themselves to people like human spirits will come and show themselves
Yeah.
to people at locations, and I'm getting a feeling that like it's a little bit of both, trying to like put everything into one neat little category
Yeah,
or
it's
one
not
little
going to fit in a
bully list.
box.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not going to fit in a box. And I don't know, maybe there are different races of them
Spirit
that
form.
have different abilities. I mean, you stop and look at your Celtic people, most of them have different abilities that they're able to just kind of tap right into that somebody that doesn't come from a Celtic background
Mm-hmm.
would have to struggle with, or somebody from a Native American background. They have a plug in to spirit that a lot of white people don't, just simply because of their heritage
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that they were brought up to believe that stuff,
Yeah.
where most
And
generic white people, so to speak,
yeah.
we're told it's
Generic.
nonsense,
Yeah.
it's BS, it's all in your head.
Well,
And
Priscilla, this will be something you might be interested in. She said she saw I was in spirit form, and I just want to ask Priscilla really quick. When you say spirit form, were you did it come to you in your home and it presented itself, or were you out in the woods, out in its habitat, natural habitat, where it showed its spirit to you? But what was also interesting with the Washington State segment of their season for the expedition, the guy who was spearheading the whole expedition, his name is Bryce. He was actually approached by a gentleman when they were in, I think it was Kentucky, and said that up in Washington, the government knows very well they exist because when they do their maneuvers for military training up in the woods, their training lieutenants or whoever they are that are in charge of the training will tell the men and women right off the bat, I don't care if you think they're real or not, we're telling you they are real. You may very well make contact with them and you are not to hurt them.
yeah,
And you will be prepared because you will likely see one.
yeah,
And this gentleman is from the military. So you've got military people coming out now, just like with the UFO, because they're starting to feel like it's getting more out there. The government
yeah.
can't hide this anymore.
Well, that's
And
just like with
so,
Lon and his channel. I mean, he's got a lot of
what was it
ex-military, a lot of
called?
vets and stuff that are involved, people that do this, just like MUFON and the
Yep.
UFO stuff and
Project Blue
everything.
Book and air. Yep.
He talks
It's
with them.
fascinating.
There's a guy who's a retired detective
Hmm.
who's been researching strange disappearances in the woods, especially around
Yes.
rock formations.
Yep.
Um, I don't
People
care for
just
his
disappear,
politics.
their bodies found later
I
on
don't
in the
care for the guy's
woods. Yep.
politics. So if he goes on a rant, I tend to tune him out. But
Hi, Ellen.
he's brought up some really interesting suppositions of people that have just disappeared and never been found
Mm-hmm.
again,
Or they are found
or they
and their
disappear. A
remains.
3-year-old is lost in the foothills on a trail
Mm-hmm.
path and is found a month later 10 miles up the mountain
Yeah.
barefoot with no clothes, and it's the dead of winter. And
And also they find their remains as well. Or they'll
yeah,
go back
or
to
they'll
an
find their
area
clothes.
that's been completely covered over a dozen times by search teams, and then months later, they'll go
That's
back
where
in
they
the
find them.
area and there they are again. And to me that's disturbing, that's sad, that to me
Yeah,
that's dark stuff going on, because you can't have, of course, the light without the dark. I wish, we could
yeah.
have
I
no
mean,
dark at all, but
and
unfortunately.
again, something like that, you have to just, try to protect yourself as best you can.
Hey,
Hi,
Scott,
Scott.
you're
And
more than welcome to join us if you want
oh,
later on.
absolutely. There's a man that knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I referred a episode of UFO Witness that I saw today, and the absolute cover up and disappearance of an individual who actually had physical video footage of the Phoenix Lights, and they took the tape from this
I'm
guy, and he just vanished completely off the face of the
I
earth.
moved to Phoenix a couple of years after that
I was going
happened.
to say I didn't know if you were there
Right.
during.
I think it was like just a couple of years after it had happened. And there were still people around who still talked about it, people who saw it in their own backyards. They were like, oh my God, yeah.
Mhm.
Because I was at work and somebody brought it up, and there was like 3 people, different ages, different races,
Mhm.
worked in different departments. We were all out at the smoking table, and they were all like, oh yeah, I saw it. I took
Yeah.
video of it, but I don't show it because they'll come take it away.
Or they'll make you disappear.
Yeah. Or
Oh,
or or
Scott says
convince
he's at
people
the
you're
Phoenix
crazy.
Lights part.
So
Yeah, but yeah, this one guy, because they were trying to get member name was, I have it right here. I wrote it down. Frances Barwood. She was a councilwoman at the time, and so her constituents put the heat on the governor at the time. I didn't write his name down, but I remember the footage. They brought out, a guy dressed up like an alien. People were being laughed at and everything because the government didn't want. But a gentleman, and what they did is the government actually put a trace. Sorry, Scott, spoiler alert. Put a trace on her phone, and when she spoke to this male who said, "I actually have really good video footage of the craft. I'm going to send it to you." Um, or he said that he, did send her because I guess it was when he had said that to her, she said, "I never got it." And he goes, "Well, 2 men dressed in suits showed up at my door
the Men in
saying
Black,
that
yeah.
they were there to, get the videotape for you." And then after that, he completely fell off the face of the earth. When she tried going to his home, his neighbor said, "Oh, we heard he had a bad reaction to one of his new medications or something, and we don't know what happened to him. He hasn't been back." So he's been gone for, and nobody knows what's
Yeah.
happened to him yet.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I worked with several people who that one day somebody brought up the topic and they were talking about it. I just happened to go out for a smoke break, and
Hmm.
there was like I was like, oh yeah, I heard about that, something on TV about it. And because every now and again the local news broadcasters will run clips of it because they've got video too. I mean, they had their professional photographers out there running tape, saying, what the
Uh-huh.
hell is this? And and it was being broadcast live, so there wasn't no hiding it at that point.
Mhm. And
Um,
UFO Witness is the program that Scott's watching that I highly recommend, because Ben Hansen, he's former FBI himself,
yeah,
and his grandfather was actually in the military and had reported to a crash sighting. I believe it was Kentucky. And so on his deathbed, his grandfather told his father more about what he experienced. And then his father related to Ben, and they're like, it's an absolute cover up. They know exactly what it is that they're doing. And when they do find surviving ETs from these sites, the government does so many tests on them that they kill them
Mm-hmm.
because that's what, you know.
I
And
could
I'm
see
not
that.
saying that there aren't,
Matter of fact,
bad aliens that
my
come
buddy
here and
Lon,
harm us.
he just went live on
Oh, he just
YouTube.
went live, your buddy?
He just went
Oh,
live. I just got a pop-up notice. Um, he's got Zach Starrick, Southern Illinois Monster Hunters, is his guest tonight.
oh, I'll have to go
So
check that out.
I will.
Yeah, most definitely introduce himself and say, hey, Shari sent
I'm
me.
gonna pull this up real quick.
Okay.
Let me delete it. Delete it. Okay, it's already muted. And share
Okay,
and
if
copy
anybody in chat has
and
any
close.
questions about
Now y'all
any
can't
of
leave and
this.
go watch this right now. You have to wait till we go off. You can go watch the replay.
Oops.
And they tend to be on sometimes for a while.
Like us.
Like us, yeah. But
I only have a few, like, I think I've got like 5 hours left of free StreamYard, so I can't do like a 2 or 3 hour like I usually do. But when
what do you mean you got 5 hours left?
see, I got the free plan for StreamYard, and
Yeah,
you get
that's
so
what I
many
have.
hours. And I got an email the other day
That's so many
stating that I
hours,
have
what, a
like
month, a year?
I only have like 5 or 8 hours left for this month before my
I
hours
got you.
renew.
Okay, so you're only allowed so many hours a month.
Yes, Karen, Kurt Russell actually witnessed the lights in Phoenix. He was actually flying his own plane, and he had reported to the terminal, hey, you guys, there's these lights in the sky. What are you guys making of these things? And they kept coming back to him saying, well, we don't see any lights on our radar.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm looking at them right now. So, yep. So,
Yep.
well, Ellen, we're looking for
living in Phoenix
questions.
for 10 years, I saw some weird lights that would come up off the mountains at
Oh
times.
yeah, definitely Sedona, all those places.
Well, I never went up there, but I mean, we had of course there's Camelback Mountain, which is like right smack dab in the middle of Phoenix.
Okay,
Literally
keep talking, I'm
streets
going to
go up
answer
to the
for you.
mountain and stop. And you have to go around the mountain on the other side. The street picks up and keeps going. So you're like on 3rd Street and you get to the mountain and then you have to go around it and then you hook back up on 3rd Street and keep on trucking. So it's the strangest thing I ever saw. But yeah, Phoenix has a lot of weird stuff. And but you've got you're in a bowl, because it's a valley. You're surrounded by mountains. You have multiple native reservations there.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of that work.
Mhm.
From Navajo to Hopi to.
I mean, I saw a UFO once, but it was so quick. I was, I think, 8 or 9 years old. I was looking at the constellations through my brother's. He had a little telescope, and I remember seeing a ship, and I remember red and yellow colors associated with it, and this kind of lumpy dome shape with the disc, like right in my view. It was just as if it went right there, see me, and then boom, it was gone, and I have not seen anything since then.
Yeah.
So I know
I
I've
had
seen
an
it
experience once when I was I guess I was about 17, 16, 17.
Oh, wait a minute, Chaz Lance. Oh,
A friend of
excuse
mine,
me.
he was older, probably a good 10 years older than all of us, but he had his own salon. He was a gay guy, an absolute sweetheart. And we just became really good friends. And he decided he needed to go in and strip the floors on his shop to put new wax. And he didn't want to put new wax down until he stripped the floors down to nothing to get all the old hair and everything up. And so we've been working in a shop like all night long, stripping floors with those fumes and everything. And we had all gone outside to go take a beer break, smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, breathe some air. And one of the guys that was with us says, "What's that?" And everybody's like, "What's what?" And he's like, "Right up there. What is that?" And we all looked up, and it was 3 lights like a triangle. But they weren't connected, you know, but it was like 3 points of light, and they were moving, you know, they'd be cruising along, and then they'd go zip, and they drop down, and then they'd zip, they'd come back up, and then
Yeah, and the
zip.
government tries to says that those are
And
flares,
we
gas,
watched
swamp
it for,
gas,
I
and there's
bet you, an
no such
hour.
thing.
We sat out there and watched those 3 lights just dance across the sky. And of course, when we tried to tell people about it the next day, nobody believed us. They all said, "Oh, that was just the fumes that got to you." We're like, "No, dude, it's not for an
Yeah.
hour." You know, we weren't directly inhaling the stuff. I mean, we did have masks on.
So Ellen, we will answer give you a message from Spirit, but I just want to let's do Ellen's question first, and then I'll just hit a couple of Bigfoot questions that I had, and then if there
Okay.
was anything that
Message
anybody
from
else in the chat,
Spirit.
or even Scott, if there's something Scott you want us to throw on while you're watching.
Scott needs to put that on pause and come on with us.
No kidding. You know what I'm going to do right here? I'm just going to go ahead, and I am going to put the link in there for
Hi, Awakened Queen.
Awakened Queen.
I've not seen that name before.
I have not.
That's a new person. Hello and welcome.
Hello. I know her face looks, your picture looks familiar.
You're on Heather's channel.
Yeah. So I think.
Is that somebody we know that just has a new name?
So I'm going to start her question as well.
Okay.
Someone asked a question I seen. What your card toss say? Does our government actually have airplanes from UFO technology? Did I miss a question?
Well, as much as we've been yakking, that's a probably good possibility.
I don't see it, but thanks, Scott. I'll go ahead and I'll star that as well. Oh, in another chat. Oh, okay. So that's going to be Scott's question for us. Okay. So for Spirit, messages for Ellen. Let me grab my new deck. And if you get your cards before I do, my dear, go right ahead.
All right. Okay, Ellen, I'm using the Native Spirit Oracle cards. I love these cards.
Oh, oops. Let me fix this here. I got the wrong. There we go.
Okay. My first card I pulled for you is called Gathering Your Tribe. You're right here with most of us. So it's just gathering up your tribe, knowing who you can rely on, knowing who you can count on. Because it's one thing I have to say about this community is everybody is really good about reaching out and helping when it's needed. Yep. Then from there, I pulled Shapeshifter. Now that's one of the many myths of Bigfoot, is that it's a shapeshifter. That was just a couple weeks ago, Heather and I were talking about the Rougarou down here in Louisiana. That's also known as a shapeshifter. So there very well could be someone in your life who is a shapeshifter. Or maybe you're a shapeshifter and you don't know it yet, or you haven't come into that power yet. So, because I've heard that sometimes that can take a little bit. Or it could be shapeshifter, meaning that as your views broaden and your way of looking at things changes, it shifts your mindset so that the way that you shape your thoughts and your questions will change. It will shift away. And then it ended with Spirit of Fire, which is cleansing. Fire cleanses. Yes, it burns, and yes, it destroys. But ultimately, what's left behind allows for new growth, a new awakening, and a cleansing. It's like like a start over free card, you know. Um, you can also gain a lot of strength from fire. And spirits of fire are also able to. I'm trying to think of how to word it.
They're also protective too. Fire is very protective.
Protective. Thank you. That's the word I was searching for, and it just wouldn't come to me. So that's what you got going for you, darling. Is you're gathering your tribe. You're shifting your thought patterns as you learn new things, and you're getting cleansed by the fire and getting strengthened by it.
Yepers. I like that because I agree. Because you can manifest it. You can make it through. Your higher self is always guiding you. What wisdom does your higher self have for you? And just like Shari said, she had your tribe. This this are this is that spirit that's coming down. And what's beautiful here with the tribe too is these different constellations. A lot of constellations people feel are where many different star seeds come from. Our ET brothers and sisters. So you have spirit, you have your brothers and sisters looking down upon you, and this is you looking around, searching for, your family, your soul tribe. And it says the way that you can do it is reaching through your connecting with your higher self. So this is what you're seeking outside of yourself. You can start by looking for it inside of yourself. And the second card is um, what the title of the card, but what they put underneath it really resonates. It says, "What is your inner voice telling you about the dream in your heart?" And that really connects with the first card as well, because it's saying, listen to your higher self while connecting and asking, what does your heart say? What is it that your inner voice, your intuition, that's coming from, your higher self? Kind of like think of this too as your higher self. What messages is your higher self trying to give you that you're looking for? And a lot of that you can find within your dreams. Listen to what your heart, trying to get this over so you can see what it says here, what
That's a
your
cool
heart
card. I
is
like
saying.
that.
It's beautiful. And then the last card is, it's everything is in all divine order. um, how can you relax into the flow and go with the current state of life? So whatever it is that you're doing right now, keep, like, through meditation, um, asking for guidance from your spirit guides, your source, and connecting, having them help you connect with your higher self to guide you and to bring you insight and help you to focus all these beautiful different, I love it's like different facets of
It just made
yourself,
me think of the card I pulled, Shapeshifter.
different facets of yourself, bringing those all together and to
Yeah,
create the life that you want. And when you have that image of what you want, you release it and you let it go, and it will naturally flow. Because sometimes when we fight or we struggle or we try too hard, it makes more noise, it makes more static, and we can't focus on the messages that we're trying to hear because we're trying so hard. It's kind of like that saying, get out of your own way and just allow. So
yes.
once you put that out there and start asking your guides to help you connect with your higher self, and asking your higher self to connect with you through your dreams, through what your heart truly desires, all those different many facets of everything that you love, of who you are, will come into focus, and everything will flow into place. So that's
Go up to 912, Priscilla.
okay.
She would like to
Alrighty.
have a
Thank
card,
you.
please, so we can star her.
Okay. So hopefully, I hope that helps, Ellen. But yeah, when you said the shape shifting, I was thinking of being able to. I mean, there are people I have met, different native people here where I live,
I was still right
and
here.
they said that shape shifting is no joke. There are people who can do it. and some people use it for good and some people use it for bad. But I'm feeling like more with what Shari ended up connecting with her other cards is that in with this one here is just shaping the life that you want and
There you
focusing
go.
on what you want, what your dreams are, and not listening to what other people are saying, but just staying connected to your, your higher self, your spirit team, you know, and just working with that light and that love and allowing that to flow and allowing that to guide you and flow you along the river. I mean, life is a journey. They said, not a destination. So, um,
Wasn't that a commercial?
I think so. Brought to you by. Oh my goodness. So let me
Sorry, I couldn't help it. The way you phrased that, it was like, no, wait, I've heard that before. That was a
Me too.
commercial.
That's probably why I said I'm like, oh, I've heard this, but it seemed like the right thing to say at the time. So,
I do that all the time.
oh,
Okay. Who's up next?
okay.
Oh,
Awakened
Awakened Queen.
Queen would like an ET. Well, I have the perfect deck for that. Oh, if it'll come out of my
You have
my
Scott's
holder.
deck.
Yes, I do.
I haven't gotten it yet. It's on my wish list. I just can't afford it yet.
It's in a song. Oh, first of all, Ellen says thank you. It helps. That's wonderful. I'm glad we could help get you, get your message to you. And it's in a song by India Ari too. Yeah, I
I
like
don't know
India
who
Ari.
that is.
Got a,
I
she's
probably
a
know her
beautiful.
music, but
Yeah, she's an R&B artist who's more kind of like it's like soul and
yeah.
spiritual,
Oh,
very
there's a bunch of them.
indie.
I know the songs. I know the music because I hear it on the radio all the time. But I couldn't
Oh,
tell you who they were or who sang it. I've
yeah,
started doing like little reels and stuff on Instagram, and you can go in and use all. They got rights to all kinds of music to use. Um, and I'll go in there and I'll just put in one or two keywords to find a song, and there's all kinds of stuff that pops up. It's like I've
oh
never
yes,
heard of these people. I don't know what any of this is, and so I'll just click on something. It's like, oh, I know that song. I didn't know that's who
hmm
sang it.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah, India Ari came out, I believe, late '90s, early 2000s.
yeah,
She's a
that
beautiful,
was not a good time in my
beautiful
life
woman.
then,
Oh,
and not a good time. I didn't pay much attention to that.
so this is a collective message, not just so it's for all of us. Okay.
Collective message. Okay. Well, I like what that card said. I'm not through yet.
Well, I got a couple of decks, so I'm going to grab my star seed as well.
Yeah,
I
I'm,
want to.
I'm getting drawn to several decks here, so we're just gonna see what happens. I've got my 1 year anniversary coming up next month of my channel.
And you just had your first live a couple
Uh,
weeks. Was it?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
I had it for the long time. I would put like little videos and stuff, but I was mainly just hopping on other people's channels, getting comfortable with doing it. I was terrified.
Yeah.
And then the first time I tried to do my own live, I screwed it up and I locked myself out of YouTube for 24 hours. And I wound up doing it through
Katie
Katie
Moonchild.
Moonchild's channel. She's like, oh, just do it on my channel. So, and then the second time I did one was kind of a spur of the minute. I was on with talking with Amy, and
Hi, Debsy. Debsy in the house. Just got to
and
call out.
she had we'd lost each other's emails, and she had Ron email me to say Amy's trying to reach you. And so I got in touch with her and I said, well, let's do it live tomorrow. So we did. Don't know how effective it was, but we had a lot of
Oh,
fun.
it was wonderful. She's so gracious. She's so nice. I like Katie. She's got such a wealth of knowledge.
Oh,
Her,
Debsy's
Nancy
here. Hi,
Jean, I learned
Debsy.
so much. Yeah, I just had Debsy in the house.
I'm just now snap
And Scott says he sent you an email.
sent who an email.
You.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'll check after the show.
Okay. So
Yes.
let's see. So I'm just going to go ahead because I've got
Go for it.
mine all set up here. Make sure I remember how to do this. So the first card I got, and this is for all of us. Technology is great, but take time for yourself. A lot of times we spend way too much in our electronics, our TVs, in our phones. A lot of bait scrolling keeps us in. Um, so we really need to make sure that we have a healthy balance between doing what we love to do on our tablets, our phones, um, our movies and TVs, but also making sure that we're taking time to go into nature or to have quiet time to sit with ourselves, our loved ones, our pets, doing things that we love, that makes us happy, whether creating, and that could be in any form, like knitting, cooking, just getting out of the electronics and start connecting with nature, with people face to face, and doing things, around the house, the yard, or out in nature that brings us joy. um, Also, we need to learn how to be, making a reminder that we need to keep our minds open, to try to learn new things every day,
I like that
and to
picture.
teach by experience. So this is kind of card how I feel right now, is that with all these shows that I'm watching, that's why I love doing these lives and suggesting these questions, because there's just so much more that's out there that we don't understand, and not just out there as in the universe, but within our own planet. I mean, they keep talking about going to Mars and doing this and that, but they don't even know what's in our deepest oceans, or at least they're not letting us know what's in our deepest oceans.
No,
I
they
know
don't
some
know
people
yet.
probably do. But just focusing on what we can learn about each other, ourselves, what makes us different, what makes us connected, um, you know, understanding and learning about nature, and even learning new projects, taking up new, hobbies, things like that. And also, and I think I understand this card. It says a male ancestor is with you. And I know a lot. I think this is like showing support because of everything. And I won't go into the politics, but we know what's going on for a lot of women right now in the world, and how a lot of the men in the world, and the women that support them as well, so much women feel just so attacked. There's a lot of wars going on that seem to be male dominated towards hurting people, men, women, children, and then things that are happening to us women in this country. And I think this card is saying, to remind us that there are men, both spiritually, and physically, on this planet that are helping us, that are trying to improve, um, equality and safety and protection for women. So it's a lot for me. This card personally means try not to put so much, anger and hate and stuff out towards, you know, the men in the world and in spirit, and try to find that balance, and just remember that, there are those that are on our team too, helping us and supporting us and empowering us. And I'm going to let, Shari go with her cards because I have another set, but I'll let her get her messages
You're
out, and
gonna
I'll
flip
jump,
when you see what I drew.
and then I'll go ahead and I'll show my starseed cards. But I
Okay, I
want to see what
started with
Minu
Minu decided to join us.
Minu.
And okay, I started with Moonology. We got new moon. A new start is coming. Now that goes right along with some of your first cards that you just pulled. A new start is coming. And from there I went to Rainbow Tarot over the Rainbow and I pulled the Fool, which is new beginnings and a new start. And then from there, I went to my Dragon Wisdom Oracle cards, and I got Path,
Oh.
and it's the two lovers together, whether they're soulmates, lovers, or just two halves of the same whole. Um, they're again showing there's a new start together. So I feel like Spirit's giving us a message.
Mm-hmm.
Time for a new start. Time for a reset.
Oh, she's so precious. I can't believe how big she's getting.
I know
Oh,
she used to like fit just in my hand. Now she's gotten a lot bigger. When I had that reading with Mark last night, the minute he started, vroom, she came running right here. She spent the whole reading laid up against me like she was the one getting the reading. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that is so wild.
So I'm just going to go ahead and throw because I want to make sure that you got a chance to without me,
So I'm gonna say hi
sometimes
to a
I
couple
go
people.
and I can't stop. But just really quick, like with the other cards, there is a new earth. So we are working together, like your card, coming together, the male spirits, the female, we're working together to create a new earth. It's happening. We have to not lose hope. We have to keep holding the vision. That's what made me to think of your two beautiful dragons coming together. Um, all paths lead to home. Um, so even though we're all different, we all still come from source, and everybody's path is going to be different from everybody else's, but still leads to the center. Um, and then to jump right into the universe, it says Andromedan energy. I'm not too familiar with the constellation of Andromeda, but it says this is a new time for new adventures, like getting out of your electronics, um, going out into nature, start having adventures, being with people that you love. And it says right here, say yes to change. So not to be afraid, not to lose hope, and know that change is coming. And that's important for me too, because with everything that's been going on in the world and what is happening right here, happening to me daily with the people in the community that I live in. There are days when I can't, I keep saying I can't, I don't, I can't believe that things are going to get better. And I guess, you have to hold
No,
on to
I
that
hear
hope.
you. I look around and think to myself, how are we ever going to get through this?
Hmm.
I know we will. I feel we will. But there are times when it's like, we're going to, oh, yeah, Joan says she's sweet and cuddly.
Hmm.
You should see my arms from the
She's a
elbow,
mess, that's for
from
sure.
the
She's a
elbows
mess.
down. I'm nothing but holes and punctures and scratches. And
Yeah, mine
she's a
hasn't
trip.
happened.
I made a sandwich for myself the other day, and uh, I had to go check something, and I set it down on my desk. Now I covered it. I put something over it. I came back.
Hmm.
She had taken half of my sandwich off the plate and was chowing down on it on my desktop. And when I tried to take it away from her, she started growling at me. I was like,
Oh,
no, 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 no,
no,
no.
no.
Like, I don't
Yep,
think
Joe and
so.
I said at the same time, all three of us. No, 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 no.
But yeah, she's something. All right, look, you got to hang on because I got to shuffle. Okay, don't bite
Oh my
me.
God, she's so
Here, look, come over here and keep Kane company. There you go.
too much.
Ugh,
I'm surprised mine hasn't
it's
come
like
in
having
here yet.
toddlers in the house again. Jesus, it's like, didn't I already do that?
Fur babies, yep.
I did that already.
Okay, does our government actually have airplanes from UFO technology? I can already say, yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
from what I understood, that stealth bomber was supposed to have been reversed engineering. I heard over the years in those different shows, on TV, and
International Space Station. Ring any bells?
yeah. So Does our government actually care about technology? Yeah, I get the
Excuse
cell
me.
phone. Oh, hello, sweet. That's so cute.
She decided she was going to explore the
I
camera on
looked up
top.
and all I saw for a quick second was a kitty eyeball.
Okay, no, I don't need your help. You're not helping. You're not helping me. You're knocking my cards everywhere. I love you, but go with Kane. Don't keep him
She says,
company.
but you're paying attention to other people, but I want the attention now.
Yeah.
Yes, she's the star of the show tonight, everybody.
Oh, without a doubt. The dogs are
Me and
petrified
Shari,
of her.
we're, what's
The
that
dogs, I
word?
mean, we've got the little dog and then we've got the big dog, which is a lab, which is
I
huge.
love
And they're both terrified of her. She
Priscilla
definitely
asked if
rules
Kitty wants
roost.
a reading.
Like I said last night when Mark called and we had our reading, she was right there front and center for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know that she's been waiting for y'all. He said that's why she's been so happy because she found her family. She's been waiting for you. I was like, well, we certainly found her, that's for sure.
Yep. She found you.
Under the car, just before a big storm, my brother saw her and brought her in. And we tried to see if she had owners. Nobody showed up. And after about 3 days, we were all like, oh no, we're keeping her.
Okay, let's see. I got to concentrate because the cards that I just pulled absolutely have nothing to do with the question at hand.
Does our government actually? I haven't pulled anything.
Nope. Okay, I'm going to try shuffling these one more time. I was under the influence of the menu. Is it menu or is it minot?
It looks like me new is how you pronounce it, but it's spelled Minou because it's French.
Menu.
Means kitty cat.
Okay.
We named her Chat Minou, which means my darling kitty cat. So.
Speaking of, hello, Mozzie. No, mine's here.
Who? Oh, yours. Says I thought I heard a cat.
Yep. Hey, where'd you go? Okay, now these cards make more sense. Come here. I know you want to say hello. Did you hear me going on and on about another kitty? Is that why you're here? Okay. All righty. You can say hi to everybody. Say hi.
Hi there. I love those eyes. He's got the most gorgeous eyes.
So there we go. Okay, be a good boy now so mommy can do what she's supposed to do. So with the reverse technology, I've got success. Here, let me just, because the other cards I had made no sense whatsoever. So completion, destiny, and success. Now don't you do what nobody wants kitty butt. Come here. Nobody wants to see your butt.
It's like they know we're on camera. Okay, now's our shot.
Yes. Okay. So yes, we have. And you can see too, there's the UFO sending, beaming down on an individual. So transfer of ideas, technology, even stolen, dare I say, from crashes. Then I got prayers are answered, help is on the way. So I feel like a lot of the technology that they do have was meant for us to receive, and it's supposed to be to help humanity. And of course, we don't always do that. But so I have kind of funny feelings about this one, because it seems like whatever our militaries, once they get a hand on any type of technology, whether bio, you know, military, whatever, it's all, or technological. A lot of times, it's, we've seen repeatedly through history that it hasn't been used for good. But I think some of it is, and I'm starting to give the impression that it might be for surgeries and stuff, helping advance um, people for new limbs, helping create maybe no, creating new technologies for surgeries. You know, the instrumentation, the machines, like for heart surgeons, a lot of things they can, just program, and the arms and everything move on their own. So I think, again, there has to be a balance. So while I think they're using technology for bad, there's also a lot of this technology being good, used for good, like our phones, our satellites, our medical, um, and of course, it's choices. It's what we choose to use the information, the technology that we receive, and sometimes it's supposed to lead you down your soul's path for good. Sometimes not so much, but I feel like I'm being, stop talking about the negative so much and focus on the positive.
Sometimes it's
But
hard
yes,
not to.
yeah, but there are choices, and some people are making the right choices. Um, and it will hopefully balance itself out, and hopefully we'll get more of an upper hand for the good guys compared to as the bad guys. But it's always like on the road, we have the direction we choose. So those are my cards.
Alrighty. I want to check one thing because this one deck I'm not that clear
Look at
about.
Mozzie, everyone's saying, oh, a beautiful cat. No, don't let it go to your head.
Okay.
Let me put you in the hot seat. There we
Oh,
go.
there we go. Just
Yep.
what everybody wants. See me up close. Start out with the Page of Swords. Um, that's kind of telling me intelligence. They're gaining intelligence by keeping it a secret. Um, there's a lot of diplomacy going on with this. A lot of just a lot of trying to gain as much knowledge as they can before the cat is out of the bag, so to speak. Then from there, I went to the Page of Cups. But now we're dealing with emotions.
Mhm.
And again, you're getting that connection. You're getting that the guidance. So there's guidance that they're sending through the emotions of helping us out, like, you know, the medical and flight and just all the positive things that can come out of this. Um, but they're still kind of keeping it a secret. And then I pulled justice, which I feel like that's the future. So justice is coming, where they're going to have to atone for the negative art. Earth people are going to have to atone for the negative aspects of what they've done.
Mhm.
So we've got justice coming, and I think that they've tolerated us to this point because they know, I think, on the whole, most earth bound people are not
Are
prepared
good.
for what's happening. You know, they're gonna freak out. It's what I'm thinking. It's what I've always felt like, people just in general are gonna like just flip and freak out. Then I pulled, what is it? The cardinal moon. Be bold and make the first move. So there again, we're being told to be bold and make the first move. It's time for the truth to come out. I think we're now at a point in our development, human being wise, in most areas anyway, that we can handle the truth when it comes out. And I think more damage is done by hiding it than by letting it out and letting us know what's going on. And then I just felt drawn to pull one more card, and that was my 7 of Swords that I pulled. And again, we're talking strategy, we're talking self confidence, we're talking cunning. Uh, you're also talking stealth. Again, part of that keeping it all a secret. Don't let it out. People are going to freak out. But I think that once this information comes out, once the government kind of gives up the ghost, I think once the majority of people kind of get over that initial, holy crap, it is real. What does that mean for me? I think people are going to really kind of dig out on it. I mean, you don't have, you know, 50 years of people loving Star Trek and Star Wars and all the other science fiction stuff out there if they didn't truly want this kind of a connection. As much as I love Star Wars, the thing I always loved about Star Trek more was that it was the possibility of our evolution. GOP talking points. There you go. Very good, Scott. I was trying to I knew that there was more. I'm not looking this stuff up anymore. So I'm just trying to go by the feeling I'm getting. I figured it's a live long and prosper. Live long and
resistance.
Yeah, no.
Well, the resistance movement from Star Wars. I'm more of a Star Wars girl, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I stood in line for 3 hours with my uncle and my aunt in Cocoa Beach, Florida, when the original Star Wars came out.
I was 6 years old.
I saw it in the theater full of people from NASA and the Air Force. It was the conversations after the movie as we were leaving that I could hear around me. And I'm 16 years old, you know. But it was the conversations of hearing these really smart aeronautical astronaut type scientists, people, they did. And if we do, and we could try. And it was like just watching their minds going. But the biggest thing for Star Wars that hit me with that very first movie was towards the beginning of the movie when they first get away and before they get to the Death Star, and Obi-Wan is trying to teach Luke how to do the thing with the shield down. And Han Solo saying, you can't protect yourself if you can't see what you're shooting at, and Obi-Wan proceeds to tell him what the Force is and what it meant. And I remembered sitting in that theater thinking,
it made sense to me as a kid.
That's it. That's what I believe, and didn't know how to verbalize. I believe in the Force. I mean, it was like an epiphany at that point for me, So Star Wars has a special. I loved Battlestar Galactica. That was another one of my favorites. The original one. I didn't really watch the remake.
Which one was the one that had
Eric Benedict was in the original.
That other one that had Aaron Gray.
He was also at 18.
Remember me. Hey, Buck Rogers.
I remember
together.
I remember Buck Rogers more. Well, the original one was before my time, but they did do a remake of it late 60s, early 70s.
Well, I remember when I was a little girl, they had the TV show Buck Rogers, and I loved the little guy, with the little face that talked on him, the robot. I can never remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember their names. I mean, Star Trek.
No, it was Twinkie.
I mean, I was
his name was Twinkie, I think.
What, 7, 8 when Star Trek came out on TV. And
okay, so you were there for that.
I was a little girl and I fell in love with Mr. Spock. There was just something about him. I just hook, line, and sinker. I fell for the alien, And I don't know what it was about the character. I mean, eventually I learned to love all of the characters.
Yeah.
But Mr. Spock was the one that did it for me. I mean, I just, as far as a 7-year-old can fall in love, and he was competing against, little Joe Cartwright from Bonanza. So that's hard.
Now the show that I mean, I saw it a lot later than when it first came out, but when I was younger, the only other show that I loved as much as I loved Star Wars was Lost in Space.
The remake or the original?
The original.
Yeah, I
With
love the
Cartwright
TV
and
show.
all of them in there.
We
Yep.
used to watch it every week,
Oh,
along with
watched it
Flipper
every
and I
day.
Agree with Jeannie and all. I mean, I could like.
You know that I couldn't get into, but
I
when
mean,
it
I was
came to
born in
anything with space and
61, so
spaceships,
I
you
was
know,
born in 1961. So danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger.
danger,
Yeah.
danger, danger. Yep.
Um,
But really quick,
Star
the
Trek for
government
me
is
was
coming.
always the main one because that was us in the future. It was a hopeful show.
Hi, Viviani.
Hi, Viviani.
Yes. And of
And
course,
yes,
I loved the new Star Trek when I was younger with
the new generation.
Yeah, to me Riker and
I didn't watch it in the beginning.
not Riker.
My mother was watching.
Patrick Stewart. I love
And,
Patrick
and I
Stewart.
think it was like halfway through the second season when my mom was like, I can't believe you're not watching this, as big of a fan as you are of Star Trek. And I'm like, but it's not the original people. She's like, it's just as good. And so I sat down and watched it, and that was it. I was
all the other ones after
and
that, I didn't
Captain
like
Picard, that's the one I fell for. Yes.
Picard, yep.
But
really quick, I think the government is starting to get people ready to know about UFOs, aliens, extraterrestrials, because of all the footage now that they're releasing to the public, stating that these fighter pilots have been seeing this. Oh, I hear echo. Is that me? Nope, my volume's all the way down. You got
I don't have. I mean, my volume's pretty low, and everything else is muted.
Oh, that's weird.
So
I can hear myself. Oh, I don't want to laugh. Others stop laughing. It sounds weird.
I see a new name in here. Maybe y'all recognize the name, but I don't. Butterfly Magic with hot tea.
Ooh.
I don't know who you are, but welcome, and we're happy to have you.
Counselor Troy. Yes, she was amazing.
Oh,
she was an empath and everything.
Her.
Yes. But right now the government's releasing all these videos now from fighter pilots. Not all of them, but I think they're leaking more now or allowing more to be put into the public to start getting people ready. I mean, I think enough people believe in it, and this is another way to help people,
Okay, nerd moment.
Ready. All right.
We have automatic doors because of Star Trek, the original. When Star Trek, the original came on, there were no such thing as automatic doors that just opened when you approached. On the set, they had guys in the back that would pull ropes, and then the sound man that would make the noise. Mm-hmm. But there was no such thing as automatic doors. We didn't have Bluetooth. There was no such thing as Bluetooth. Lieutenant Uhura was the first one to have something in her ear, and she could talk, hear, direct her computer, everything through that thing you sticking in her ear. First Bluetooth. Yep. They're communicators. They had to flip them open. When they started making cell phones, the guys that developed the flip phone were big truckers. And they were like, we gotta make a flip phone. That's what they had on Star Trek. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then iPads, tablets, that was their electronic pads they would write on or touch on, that they brought with them everywhere they went. That was something.
Well, sci-fi, because people keep saying that can be
unheard of.
Sci-fi is now, back then what was considered sci-fi is actually
the computer talking to you and you talking to the computer. I mean, number one, the thought that people would have a computer was kind of beyond our comprehension in the late 60s. It was like, yeah, right, that's going to happen. But it was, Gene Roddenberry was definitely...
And so did George
one
Lucas.
Of them. I mean, he was not one of us. He was one of them.
He nailed the sports.
After the first season of Star Trek, the actress Nichelle Nichols gave her resignation to Gene Roddenberry because she had a chance to perform on a Broadway stage, a dance thing, and she was originally a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so she went to Gene and she said, I love the show, I love the character, but hi Sharon, but I'm going to have to resign because I've got this awesome opportunity to go to Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And Gene was like, no, please just take the weekend, think about it. And she gave him the letter. He put it in the drawer. He said, just take the weekend. Now, that weekend, she was scheduled to be one of the co hosts for something on a talk with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And when she arrived during the meet and greet time,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. King saw her, made a beeline to her. And the first thing he said to her is, I love your show. I love your character and what you're doing for our people, and you can't leave. And she was like, what? He said,
How
you
did
cannot
you
leave.
know?
He said, you're the only show I allow my children to watch. He said,
Wow.
and do you realize your position? Because
Mm-hmm.
the positions were based on naval positions in the
Yeah.
military. He says, your position is third in command of the ship. So if the captain and the first officer go down, you're next. He said,
See, I
and
didn't
you're a
know that.
woman and you're black. He said, do you realize what you're projecting out there for our people to see, that a black woman can be third in command of a starship, even though we don't have them yet, but we will someday. We have regular ships.
Yeah.
He says, do you have any clue? And she said, and from what he said to her that night, I don't remember what the rest of the conversation was.
That was it.
She went back on Monday and she said, Gene, I'd like to take my resignation back. And she said he opened the door and he handed her the letter. And he said, how was Dr. King? So he made a phone call and told Dr. King that she had given her resignation because evidently he already knew how much Dr. King loved the show.
Wow.
And so he made sure that she made that connection. Years later, when Whoopi Goldberg asked repeatedly to be put on New Generation, she had just won an Oscar for Ghost.
Ghost, yep.
And everybody was like, you don't do a TV show after you win an Oscar. And she's like, no, you don't understand. I have to be on this show. Even if it's one time, walk on and walk off. I have to be on this show. Because when I was a little girl, I saw a black woman who was third in command of the ship. And for the first time in my life, I knew there were black people in the future.
And Star Trek was the first interracial, too, that was ever put on TV. Roddenberry took a chance with that.
Yeah, exactly.
So he did break a lot of barriers.
He broke a lot of barriers. A lot of people just don't really realize it. And I know I'm nerding out on everybody because, like I said, I'm a big but those were just little things like that. With New Generation, and I'm gonna shut up after this. There was one of the episodes where Will Wheaton's character, I forget the name, the boy's name. And Captain Picard,
I can't think of it,
had to travel back in time for something. And as they were setting the scene, deciding who's going to stand where and all the stuff that they do, Will Wheaton said, well, now, wouldn't it be cool if whatever his character's name was, if he walked into the door because it didn't open? Because all he's ever known all his life are doors automatically open when you walk to them. And we're going back in time to a time before then. And so he would not know that door is not going to open when you walk up to it. And the director thought that was so cool. He put it in the scene. And
Wesley Crusher.
Wesley Crusher, thank you. And so as Wesley and Captain Picard are cruising up to this door to go in, he boom walks right into the door, because the door didn't open. And he didn't know that you're supposed to turn the knob and open the door. because he in his world that didn't exist.
It didn't exist.
All doors automatically opened, and just little things like that. There's a show that Discovery Channel or one of them. It's like a 2 or 3 hour show that they did of all the things that came from Star Trek and Star Trek's world,
Mm-hmm.
and all the people that were influenced who later became scientists and doctors and astronauts and whatever because of that show, you know.
Yeah.
And I just always Star Trek has a special place in my heart.
For me, Star Wars was at a time when I felt, well, I was bullied a lot as a child. And for me, the Princess Leia, she was tough. She was
Oh
put
yeah.
through scary situations and she was strong. She knew how to hold herself, she knew how to protect herself. Um, for me, that was just like she she was a role model for me.
Yeah.
And when I heard, like you said, the first time about the Force, it was just like, how come no? Because for when I was younger, that was how I automatically understood things, anyways. And when as I got older, like, well, no, that's not real. I go, what do you mean it's not real? So for me, I just felt like Lucas was really also tapping into
Oh,
information that was being given to him about the Force, about the different flying vehicles. I mean, they found that wreckage. They say it's only a rock formation that was formed by water currents. But there's a ship down, I think it's the Antarctica, if I'm correct, or in outside of Russia in the lake, that looks almost exactly like the Millennium Falcon. So you know that he too is as well tapping into that information and that technologies that have also been brought
yeah.
into, and but for me, the thing that was the most, and I really didn't get it from Star Trek, but what really connected with me with Star Wars was the Force. Everything being a part of everything, nature, the trees, the rocks, our energy, everything was all connected. That was the most profound thing for me growing up, and holding on to. And then as I got older and I learned about Native American beliefs, and then I got in more older into college and learning about
Star Wars was
Wicca,
more of
paganism.
a
It just all connected
spiritual
spiritually to me.
epiphany for
Yes,
me. Star
yes,
Trek was more of a equal rights, women's rights,
yeah.
where we're going forward in the future.
Hmm.
It's not going to be like it is now.
She was a
And
princess
I
and
grew
she
up
was a
right
warrior
smack
too.
dab in the middle of the civil rights movement in the Deep South.
Yeah,
So, yeah. And I had a mother who was very progressive, who was considered the black sheep of the family because she was not a bigot,
that's
and
me.
she wouldn't let my brother and I associate with family members that were in the Klan, that are probably still in the Klan for all I know. I don't know. We never got to know them. She wouldn't allow it, you know. Um, but yeah, just the fact that someone like Whoopi Goldberg had to call her buddy LeVar Burton, who she was friends with, and say, whatever you have to do, get me on that show. And it was LeVar Burton who talked the
Gotcha.
the producers and stuff. The minute Gene Roddenberry found out about it, he was like, put her on. I'll create a character for her.
Hmm.
And of course, she and Patrick Stewart became the best of friends. And when he started his new series, Picard, after the first couple of episodes, he went on The View and he literally got up and got down on his hands and knees in front of her and took her hand and said, please come back on the show as Gaia. And she
And
said,
did she?
I'm there. She says, I'm there. So I think my son
I,
told me that she did. No, you cannot eat my medicine. Um, I got my medicine sitting out and I look down and she's playing pitty pat with it. Gonna have pain pills flying across the room here in a minute. I try to hold off until I finish the show because I don't want to be on here and be like, ooh.
So it is 10 o'clock now.
Wow.
So
And I've been yakking about Star Trek of all things. I'm sorry.
no,
I
that's fine.
hijacked
No,
your
I love
show.
when we all get together and we just talk and hang out and chat. That's what I was doing last night with Tangi, and Scott and I were, shooting the shit as I like to say, on our
Yeah.
live and then afterwards. So, it's more than just about cards. It's about, connection as
Oh
well.
yeah.
And
When I first found this community, like I said, it was right after the lockdown. I had just lost my mom. We were stuck in the house. And I came across Diane from Diane's Tarot. I was the first reader I saw, and I went, wow, they do political tarot cards. I'd never heard of such a thing.
yeah.
And I started watching her. Her show led me to Celtic Tarot Sheila. And I was like, oh, this girl's awesome. I mean, I just really enjoyed her. And then she was
she's
talking
in
about
touch.
Linda G. And I'm like, well, who the hell is Linda G? So I went and looked her up and was just had my socks knocked off, and then from there
She's the
remember.
grandma of political tarot on YouTube.
I'm telling you, I don't remember who came next. At that point, it all became a blur because I was like trying to find everybody. Anytime somebody mentioned a channel, boom, I was right there. Let's go find it. Let's see what it says. It just yeah. And I was in a good 6 months.
Yeah, Marie's Table was my
before
first.
I ever even chatted. And that was on Nasty Women with Sharon and Lisa.
Bye, Joan. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, Joan.
Have a good night.
And it was Nasty Women Tarot that I started getting involved in the chat. And then
that's where I remember seeing you for the first time.
Yeah. And it was a show we were talking about bra sizes, and I just had a crappy day at work, and I said something really smart ass, and I had Sharon and Lisa laughing, and the next thing I know, everybody was talking to me. I was like, oh my God, this is unreal. And then before I knew it, Lisa's throwing wrenches at me. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Ow. Yep, Sharon says she remembers.
That's it. It was fun. It was a fun time. It was a fun night that night. I was like, wow. And I felt like I had found my new family, you know. And then here comes a hurricane. And Scott was on Sheila Angel Feather's channel. And Sheila saw me in the chat and she said, oh, you got the hurricane. Are you safe? Are you leaving? What? And I'm like, no, we're not going anywhere.
We all did.
And I said, we're not going anywhere. We're batting down the hatches. And I think I'm going to do a video blog. And I'll just every day I'm going to record something. And Scott was like, you have a channel? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay, everybody right now, go to Shari's channel and go subscribe. And in 15 minutes, I went from 2 subscribers to 40 plus, like 44, 45 subscribers. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Yes, Scott, you did that. You did.
Scott's a cool guy.
So I have Scott to thank for getting my butt in gear and
everybody really quick who's come in later. It came in later during our live. If you happen to see Sharon's site in other chats, it's her birthday. Please be sure to wish her a happy birthday and thank her for supporting all of us readers whenever we go live or even when we're guests in the chat. She puts our links in there. And Shari also hit her 250 mark. So congrats to Shari
I can't believe it. I'm halfway there to a community tab. Yay. So I need 250 more.
Yep, I think I'm up to 214. So
took me a year
I'm right
to
there
get
behind you.
So I'm I figure if I can make it to 500 by next summer, I'm doing good because I'm going slow. I'm, I work full time
Ooh.
and
Ooh,
I'm
both my
shuffling
ears are ringing.
30%.
Oh my goodness.
What's wrong? Ears
Both
pop?
my ears both of them just started raining. And now it stopped. That was weird.
Okay, my ears ring all the time. Since I got hurt in 1999, my ears have never stopped ringing since then. And you kind of get used to it after a while.
Well, I've got the cards for Priscilla, so I'm just going to
When you
jump
go,
right
I'm
in.
shuffling.
So, Priscilla, thank you for being so patient. I hope you're still here. Um, I know we've been very chatty about Star Wars and Star Trek and all of our wonderful stories. So, thank you for hanging in it with us and sticking around. We appreciate your support. And I got the Queen of Water as my first card. So, the Queen of Water is telling me that you're an individual that is very connected to your emotions. You're the queen. She's nurturing. She's in touch with her emotions, her intuition. Because water, it's really strong, especially with women with their intuition and their psychic abilities and their abilities to be an empath. So I feel that, this is you in touch with that very watery nature of yourself. You may even be a water sign. I'm not sure. But this is, an individual, a woman who's just absolutely in touch with her, strongly with her feminine side. And then I got the three of air for with regular tarot. This would be the swords. And so the three of swords is there's some sadness, there's some things that you've had to walk away from. um and it may have to do with psychic ability development, or you being in a place where your emotional and mental states are more important than what other people might be, kind of like the boundary thing. You may be getting like maybe negative feedback about who you are, exploring your abilities, speaking your truth, your emotions, being very open and honest. And this too might represent people who have left your life as well, that can no longer accept who you are. Aquarius. Ooh, so no, Aquarius is an air sign, I believe,
Yep,
if I remember
it's air.
correctly. But still, Aquarius too. I think Aqua Aquarius. So it's still, to me, that feels still very connected with the water, and then with air, there's the feathers. There's the you walking away, and what you're walking away from that. But what you're walking to is this beautiful Ace of Fire, which would be Ace of Wands, your creativity. And with water and fire, that's steam. That's, you've got all these ideas bubbling and cooking and in the works, and you're exploring what's inside that inner fire that makes you happy, your passions, your creativity, new projects, new goals. And you're sitting, I'm gonna see her, she's really cute. Like, there you are sitting on
Oh,
top of that. And this
Tinkerbell.
is your beautiful globe. That's where your passion,
I like that
um,
picture.
even sexuality, and just embracing everything that is feminine to you, and just taking that and saying that this is, and this being a lantern, this is all also for me, showing that you're showing your true light, you're showing your true self, and saying that this is me, this is who I am. I am a beacon of light. This is what my light looks like. This is who I am. This is my soul light. And you're sitting proudly on top of that. So continue to be who you are. Continue to enjoy what it is that you enjoy. If you have to walk away from negative people, persons, places, things that are not good for your well-being, um, do so. And just know that um, people will see your true, authentic light. that you shine. And I am Pisces Venus. There we go. Pisces also. So you're already automatically connected in touch with that watery, intuitive, psychic part of yourself and empathic. So I think that a lot of walking away from all that negative energy, influence, emotions, people, that creating that healthy boundary where you can shine your light. That could be your boundary too. This is my lantern. This is my light inside. I'm protecting it, but there's also that opening that I can shine it and share it with every yeah. I can shine it. Sometimes the things want to come out faster than I can say them.
This little light of mine,
There you
I'm
go.
gonna let
I'm
it
gonna let it
shine.
shine.
Yep.
So that's showing that you're showing the world, you're sharing your light, you're showing, this is who I am, and you will have the right people come to you that will be drawn to your light. And there we go.
Yeah, it's my turn. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're starting out
Minus your two.
with the Knight of Wands. And here in the rainbow, this is enthusiasm, passion, adventure. These are all things that you feel deep inside of you. As you can see, I think it's a troll or something that's on the back of them. I don't know. They've got different creatures in here. And then from there, I pull the new moon in Scorpio, which tells you to work through your fears. And we all have them. We all have our fears. We all have to just work through it one step at a time. And then I got gathering your tribe. So here we are. You're like the second or
There's the
third
tribe
person
card.
that's got that card tonight. So spirit's getting pretty strong in that message. You're with your tribe and you're gathering them together. That's what we're all here for.
Yep.
And then from there it goes to ancient forest. And I don't know if you can how well you can see that.
I have that deck. It's a beautiful deck.
I know, and this is just I love this card. It's the forest, and it looks like a place that you would walk to and just sit down and just think, meditate, speak to your guides, whatever it is that you do when you go walk in the forest. And of course, with our main discussion on Bigfoot, I wouldn't suggest doing it by yourself because that's when he tends to strike. Anyway, little girl, I'm sorry.
As long
Forgive
as,
me.
but
Somebody
I
wants to
think
play the
he only
cards.
gets angry when people are abusing or they go out with negative intentions. I think if somebody who is innocent and is just out enjoying nature, they may show himself just to let sometimes people know, hi, this is a gift from me to you. You can see me, but I'm going to go. Or for some people, he lets them know if you're getting too close to his home or family, you know, to say, okay, you're not welcome here. You need to move on. Because Shan did see one when he was younger, and it was a gift. And even though it scared him, it was still him showing himself to Shan, and Shan had already at that young age a respect and love for nature, so they can sense that.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. High color for foresight.
Yes.
And
Were you done with Priscilla's
yeah,
card?
that was
Oh,
all
okay.
I pulled. So that was perfect.
So before we end, I was just wondering if I could just go ahead and ask at least that one question about the big guy, the Bigfoot or the big feet, however you wanna. Um, I
Or
would
as my
like to
son
know,
used to say when he was little, a big doot.
big dude.
A doot.
I'm just
Not a foot, but
curious
a doot.
if they have the ability, because this was a something that was suggested on the show that I'm watching. If they can create cloaking using their fur and their bodies and their environment. I would just
That's
love
a
to pull
really
cards on that.
intriguing thought. I never really put that together. It's
Mhm.
I always put together that they had the ability to cloak themselves by being able to blend into their surroundings
Mhm.
so well that you couldn't see them. What are you doing?
I think it's a little bit of both, but that was just an interesting perspective that was brought up that I had never heard about before. And so I just wanted to see if that was also another method of theirs, to be able to, hide themselves, um, was to, because of them being able to manipulate,
Yeah, because I
how
know
light
I've
bounced off
seen
them.
I've seen videos where you're seeing something and you can tell
You're
there's
welcome,
something
Priscilla.
there. And then it's like you blink and whatever it is, it just seems to fade into the
Hmm.
woodwork, so to speak. It's like
Yeah.
it was right there. Where did
I
it go?
believe portals are possible, but when they presented the cloaking and showed that um,
Well, that's
people
what
in
Jen
the
says.
scientific is they're able to
Jen from Jen's World, that's what she says. Portals. That
portals.
they walk through portals.
I think they're both. I think,
So
but I just would like to see if they are able to manipulate their bodies and their environment to be able to hide, not necessarily just through a portal, but just having the ability of moving their arms or their fur or just the slight movement to create that light refraction, to be able to create that cloaking. I thought that was incredible. That was an idea that I was like, wow.
another
I,
dimension, that's another thing I've heard Jen say,
yeah.
as well as a few others, that it could be like uh what an interdimensional character, I think they call it. Um
Colorful force. I said, I am a size 12. Am I related?
if you have a size 12 foot, probably, yeah. I
So
thought
I'm
my
going
feet
to.
were big. Wow.
So that's my question. Give Bigfoot a big hug. Well, I don't think you want to, especially with the way they smell. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
I
that
hear
would
that's an
not.
awful smell.
Hmm.
Oh, oh, this is interesting. Hmm. Aha. Sorry. I'm using Scott's farm cards, and yeah, it's wow. I love these, especially the laughing pigs. I love laughing pigs. I love the little baby goats. I love it all. They're so cute.
Laughing pigs.
Yeah, I got one. This guy looks like a laughing pig. It's so cute. Are you ready, or do you want me to go first?
Go ahead and go.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm
Okay.
looking at here.
So, um, the first card I got is the Page of Coins, Autumn, and right here it says, in there, creates a new path through change, assistance. So, and also I have patient youth. So I'm feeling like the card is saying they're taught at a young age how to be able to change how they appear to people, and for and it connects with, this is like the laughing pig. I love this. Isn't that cute? They look like laughing pigs. It says whistleblower on here, but it says also learning, artistic, and new ideas. So yes, this reading is a new idea. I think it is a valid one. They do know it's a way they had to get creative, because I don't necessarily think all of them create portals or are accessible towards a portal. So they have to learn new ideas. They have to get creative on how to create. And right here, I just noticed because Scott's got so many little symbols on here. There's a little path going up into the mountains. So they have to learn how to create a path, a way they move through their environment and the use of their body to be able to cloak themselves from people. And the third card I got is the Ace of Cups during summertime. And I got the word that steps out of here is source of life and abundance. That's what they need, where they live. They're that they use. Okay, here, let me back up a little bit here. So they use the abundance of the forest to be able to cloak themselves, to hide themselves. They need to stay in good health. And in union here also means working together, because I know that during the video they were finding sometimes smaller prints inside bigger ones. And so it became apparent that one would cloak themselves behind a certain tree or foliage, and it would give the ability for the others, whether smaller children or other members in their little tribe, I would maybe call them, or their little pod, to be able to move safely through the woods. Then I also got educated, Queen of Swords. So they had to really get educated on how to do that, to keep themselves safe from people. Because if not, there are dark people, bitter people that knew, if they knew how to find them and where to look too well, that they would be hunted down and killed. And then I also got the Queen of Coins, which is Autumn, but it also says Earth Mother, grounding, resourceful, patient, and artistic. That describes them all and what they have to do to keep themselves and their community safe from humans. So the cards are telling me, yes, cloaking and using the environment to be able to do that is one of their ways besides portals. And they have to be creative. They have to come up with different ideas, and they've had centuries, if not thousands of years, to be able to learn this and to be able to teach the offspring that have come down over the years. So I'm going to switch that right back to you.
Well, we're going to start with the Five of Swords. So it's a moment of truth that comes along with learning to protect themselves, to protect their families, whether if it's cloaking or portals or whatever. Um, it's a moment of truth that they make in that moment of, do I show myself?
Mm-hmm.
Do I just disappear? Do I allow them to get a little bit better look at what I am? And is that going to be a risk? That's all in that moment of truth. That's all in that instant decision. And then from there, I got the King of Swords, which, as in the training that Heather was just talking about, that's the intellect. That's knowledge base, learning a different perspective on things. Just like we teach our kids, don't touch a hot stove. They're going to teach their kids, don't show yourself to the people. You could get hurt, you know, and follow in my footsteps. When you were talking about the little
Yeah,
little
they were finding
footprint
like
inside
little
the big footprint,
indentations. Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of animals that travel that way, so that it looks like there's only one or two, not a whole herd, you know, because they walk in each other's footsteps.
To hide their numbers and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I ended it here with the lovers, which again, it's making a choice. They're in that moment of truth as they're trying to decide what's going to happen. They've got a choice to make. Do I allow this person to see me? Do I allow this person to maybe get a photograph of me or a video of me? Or do I just melt into the ether, whether if it's a portal or just shape shifting into a tree or cloaking it, whatever it is that they do. I think I've always felt like they're far more intelligent than most people give them credit for. I think most people think of them as just big dumb animals, and
Yeah.
they're not. Um, they wouldn't be able to hide for as long as they have if they were. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's a choice that they make with each encounter, is what I
Mm-hmm.
feel.
And that's
It's
why
not
Shan
just
was
one
able to see
encounter, but
one.
with each encounter, it's a choice that they make. And
Yeah, and Shan's friend was actually Patterson's kid from the famous Patterson video, where they showed that movie,
yeah,
that first one. So he was like, "Yeah, Dad says it's real." So and then Shan saw one, when he was younger, around that age too.
well, I know
So
that's one of the things I love about when I catch Lon's shows because, um, he's everyone that he has on there, no matter what their field is or what the topic of the night is,
hi,
it's
Bora
it's
Bora.
being open minded. Hi, Bora Bora. Um, it's staying open minded.
Yeah.
It's being willing to allow the impossible to maybe be possible.
Hmm.
I mean, just like all our talk of Star Trek, Star Wars, science
Yep.
fiction, and all that. That's it. Kind of goes
It's
right
all it's all connected.
hand in glove with that. What's possible, what's not possible, what maybe is possible. So, um,
And I ended up picking up a couple more cards. I grabbed the native spirit because I kept looking at it and I'm like, it's time to put you away. And it was just like, no, you're not done with me. You're still going to use me. And with the
yeah,
with the Bigfoot, it's like nature is its medicine. It's how it lives. It's how it heals themselves. It's how it takes care of themselves.
mm-hmm,
They are protectors of the. Even though this says south, which is actually on the medicine wheel, it's the place of protection. So
yeah,
yes, they are the protectors of the woods, of the fields, and the last card is they're the protectors of the ancient forest.
yeah. It's. I love that card.
Hmm. And I think too, when they die, I think some of their spirit also comes back like humans do, and they move through the woods to keep an eye on their ancestors. I mean, like we have our ancestors, they
Yeah,
have theirs as well.
yeah,
So I'm sure we see their ancestors like we see ours, and vice versa. So maybe some of these portals are, their ancestors coming in and out. To help protect, to guide, or to teach, the ones that are still on this earth
exactly.
how
Or to
to live
provide the distraction in order to
necessary to protect.
protect. You
Exactly.
know, um, yeah. I mean, the
Exactly.
possibilities, regardless of what kind of topic you're on, whether if it's Bigfoot or ghost or spirit or whatever, it's keeping an open mind
Hmm.
and being willing to entertain the unattainable for just a minute, to sit back and
Yeah.
think about it. Wow, that maybe that could
Hmm.
happen, you know.
And I know Scott has mentioned that, and I think other readers too, that the ETs had also, I think, we have evolved from Bigfoot, and I think a lot of the ETs that have come to our planet manipulated our genes as well. So we are a part of that same family. They are our family. So to me, it's
We
like
all come from
when
stardust.
if we, you hunt one of them, you're basically hunting another, human being. We're all connected. You know.
Yeah.
And just really quick, Bora Bora jumped on. Hello, thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
hello. If y'all see Sharon Sipe in any of the other chats tonight, if you're hanging out,
Wish her
today's
happy
her birthday.
birthday.
If you see her
Mhm.
tomorrow, tell her happy belated birthday. But
So we are at 10:30. So did you want to do a final, like, overall general message for everybody
yeah, let's do that.
to end? Unless
Let's do
somebody
that.
in chat has another like supernatural question regarding an ETs or Bigfoot or any other, you know, phenomena. Let Sherry and I know. But if not,
Yes, I gave up doing my nails tonight for y'all.
your
I was
nails look
like,
perfect.
this is from last week and it's starting to all wear off and chip off. It's like, okay, I need to like.
Me, when mine get this long, I just grab the clipper and just go because whenever I do my,
Well, I
my
do my
office
own. Like
supplies,
I
it
said, I
gets hot
do
in there.
the gel stuff on it so they're real strong. Just my regular nails are so thin and brittle that they break at them.
Mm.
If I touch something, they break. So
No, mine
I
are thick and they grow so fast.
used to like go to the salon and do the acrylic nails and all of that, but one, that's expensive, and two, I actually got a couple of infections, like
Happy
nail.
nails.
Yeah.
She says happy nails.
So last weekend was what, the 4th of July, or the weekend before last, whatever. That's when I did the red and blue, and then the stripes and the stars.
I can't remember if I said hello to you, but I have seen you, Viviani. Hello. If I didn't say hi, I see
Yeah, I
you.
try to say
I
hi every time I
appreciate
see
you.
somebody pop in, but
I've been here for a little bit and I
and I
just
got
couldn't
off on my
remember.
Star Trek tangent and kind of hijacked everything.
Well,
Sorry about
Tangi and I were doing our crafting, and then we started talking about music. Hold on. Sorry, they're starting the drag races down the road on their bikes, and I started mentioning 80 songs, and then people started putting 80 songs and bands in the chat, and then all of a sudden we were just like singing. Remember this song? Remember that song?
That's one of the things I love about Lisa and Sonya's Can You Sing It?
Yep.
That they do on the weekends or every other weekend or whatever it is.
Every other Friday. And
Um,
last week, Lisa and I won.
yeah, that's right.
But one point, Allie really brought the game. Let me tell you. She had more of a repertoire of music that she could, take from. And whew, that was close. But I had a blast. It was so much fun.
I know, it's always so much fun to watch them every week, and I can't sing a lick, and I can never remember how the words and stuff go. So that's why I was like, okay, look, I'm just the scorekeeper. I'll keep score for y'all.
And you did a great job. And look at Colorful Foresight said she had an experience, a UFO experience.
Ooh. Now I've had that happen to some friends of mine too.
Did you want us to read on that too? I could stay in and read on that for you if Sherry doesn't mind. We can throw some cards if you like on that one.
Sure.
This is the best. Yeah, I love cards that are for the collective because sometimes all you need is one card, and it says remember. I'm just going to do this really quick. Love is the key. Love what you have in your life right now. Be grateful for everything that you have. Um, Even though life's hard, every little thing that we can find that we have to be grateful for, it helps us stay in a place of positivity. It helps, us handle the rough times, the rough situations, the rough moments, and just to make sure that that you keep loving your heart, especially for yourself.
Yeah.
For me, a lot of times, self love is the hardest for all of us to do. We can give it freely to others, but when it comes to us, it's hard, and I'm one of those individuals. So, um, definitely. And let me put you over there.
Okay. I I'm I drew one card and then I thought I'm stop at that, and then the dragon deck kept telling me no, you're
Well,
not
keep
done.
going then.
So I pulled two cards. First, I pulled the full
Hi, Hilda.
moon in Aquarius, which says, "Show the world the real you."
Mm,
So that's what
yeah.
Spirit wants us to know: is to show the world the real you. And then I pulled out the dragon and I started shuffling. And what do I pull? Mirror. Look how he's refracted all in those mirrors. You can't tell which one is a real dragon and which one is the reflection. And as we talked about with Bigfoot, the cloaking that they're doing, that they think is possible,
Mm-hmm.
that they do. So it would be like looking in the mirror and it just, I mean, it's a dragon, but just the way the picture looks, it
Mm-hmm.
almost looks alien with the refraction of it, you know.
I mean, I
So,
believe dragons exist.
oh,
I
I do
did
too.
physically once, but more now or so in the spiritual.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
I decided to go ahead and see what my next two cards would have been to see if they corresponded with yours. And what was the second one about shining your light, showing who
Embrace
you
the
are,
dark. Yeah. Yeah.
shine your
Show the
true light
world the
on
real
this
you.
earth. There you go. That matches that one. And then in that last one, facets of yourself. Life is more than existing. Life's an expression of you. So what you are inside, you reflect to the world. It's a reflection.
Yeah.
So there they go.
There you go.
So I'm looking to see if Colorful Insight wanted us to pull a couple cards for her. Hi, Amy. Amy popped in. Um, well, she says we both looked at each other and went, "What happened?" Did you want to throw a couple cards on those and see what we get for her?
Yeah, we can do that if you want. What was the question again?
Okay, and I had an
Oh,
experience with my
lost
boyfriend.
time. Okay,
Yep,
that's right.
9091. So I'm going to pull out.
Yeah, I probably lost a lot of time in 1991 myself. We're not gonna go there. Um,
That's the year I graduated from high school and started college. That was a crazy
oh,
couple of years. Almost got arrested trying to get into a rock star's hotel room. But we won't go there with that story tonight.
I think the
Oh.
closest I ever came as a teenager of maybe actually breaking federal law was I lived down in South Florida for like half a year, my junior year in high school, and we would go on the weekends. We would go late at night down to the beach so that when the Cubans would row over, at that time the laws were they could be sent back until they put their feet on the ground. Once they got shore, put their feet on the ground, then they could stay. And we would go out in groups as teenagers and watch the boats coming in. And some of them were like nothing more than an overgrown raft that they'd
Mm-hmm.
come over from Cuba on, you know, and we would go halfway out to it, in the water to go get them and bring them into shore, go get their kids. Most of them just wanted us to grab the kids and bring the kids to shore. But you had to be careful because if you got caught doing it, then it was a federal crime.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I hauled plenty of little Cuban kids over to the shore. But
Okay.
yeah, I would be flipped out too. But I've lost time myself, especially when driving long distances, where it's like you look at the clock and then you look at the clock again and it's 2 hours, 3 hours later, and you're like, how is that possible? Or you're driving along and you've got X far to go before you're going to get to your destination or your next stop. and it literally feels like you blink and you're there. And you're like, yeah, there's no way I got there that fast. That's happened to me a few times. Right. I've literally,
Oh, so okay. So let's see. At that young age, they were not interested or were not into. Um, boy, I'm using Scott's cards, and I'm kind of like, ooh,
hey,
that's
Mama
kind of a
Bear.
scary
Sorry.
message. Oh, where? Oh, Tracy just popped in. Um, hello.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
hi,
Serena, Mama
Serena.
Bear.
Oh my goodness. Now we got a party
Up
going.
and Hilda. Hello, Hilda.
Yep, Hilda came in a little while ago. Is Hilda? Um, okay, this is interesting. Um, see, now this is when I wish I had Scott here. How do I interpret this? Because he doesn't have a booklet that goes with his cards. Um,
In the beginning, I would freak out trying to think, I'll never memorize these. And then one night I heard one of the well known readers that's been at it a long time say, I never look at the book. I never read the book. I just go with what I feel. I thought, wait a minute, you can just go with what you feel. You don't have to learn the book. You don't have to memorize what that card stands for. It was an
well, a lot of this
epiphany
has
for
to
me.
do
It was
with
like,
alien or extraterrestrial races that I'm not familiar with or I don't have a lot of knowledge of. So when I get a card that has to do with a specific, I'm just kind of like, how do I, read this with, you know, a question at hand. So I'm just getting some clarifiers. Okay. Well, okay.
hmm.
Colorful insight. I just have a quick question for, I don't know if it's a her or a him. Um, but after your experience, did you feel anything that was negative? Was there any negative or positive? Like when you came out of that, how did you feel physically? Did you have any experiences any days after or later? I
Good
just need
question.
just a little bit more information because of a card that I received. It's not to make you scared, but is a card that I can maybe understand a little bit more. She. Okay, thank you. Um, are you ready, Sherry?
Yeah, I can go if you're
Okay.
not ready.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
Well, we started with the new moon in Scorpio, which says, what does it say? Work through your fears. So again, what was the question exactly again? Was
well, they had lost 2 hours of time,
the
and
time thing. That's what, okay, I went blank.
negative.
I guess that fits right in. I completely blanked out there. So to work through your fears, because something like that could be kind of scary, to suddenly you've lost time. It's like, uh, wait, what happened to 2 hours ago? Um, but then we have the new moon in Leo, which tells us that confidence is our key to success. So I think that as you work through your fears of what may have happened, you have to rely upon your confidence that it wasn't something bad, but something good, that maybe there was a good reason for why you've lost that time. Was it a protective measure because there might have been an accident happen if you hadn't have lost that time? Or would you have arrived somewhere where you were going before you were meant to be there? Therefore, they had to shift you around a little bit. And then to end it up, I pulled what they call the disseminating moon, which is just take time to breathe. Just breathe out. Okay, good. You weren't scared. You were just like, wow, what happened? So that fits. So, the courage was accepting the fact that something happened and I don't know what it is. But at the same time, what does it say again? Just take time to breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. What do we tell everybody, especially as you're learning to meditate? Which is one of my weaknesses, is trying to meditate because I can't get my brain to shut off. But it's to just learn to breathe. Just breathe through it. When you're pregnant and you're in labor, what do they tell you? Breathe. Just breathe through it, You're ready to strangle them when they tell you that, but it's actually pretty good advice from someone who's given birth, so I know what that's like. So yeah, just I feel more like just the impressions I'm getting is that the time was skipped for your well-being. For whatever reason it was because you needed to either be sped up or slowed down to where you were going or the area you were traveling for a protective measure. How many times have we passed a wreck and thought, wow, if I'd have left the house 5 minutes earlier,
Oh yeah, that happens a lot.
I'd have been right in the middle of that, Or, yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. So.
Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. Yes. Thank you. So I kind of had to sit here for a bit. I pulled out another deck, so I have 3 piles each here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, okay, so the love and connect with other souls. So these who helped you, they were loving souls. I believe they were Arcturian, possibly in nature, um, and them interfering in your time was from a place of love. The next set that I got was you have to trust the timing. So this was timed. Um, it was something to do with destiny. It was and see how the person's kind of being beamed up or being beamed down, but there's that connection with you and your friend. This was the ideal time, and this is where I was kind of not sure about the negativity, but it said an entity around you isn't for your highest good. So I'm not saying this, there might have been a negative energy or entity. Doesn't mean it was an extraterrestrial negative energy, but there was something, an entity that was around you and your friend that they protected you from. And it says hidden secrets. So there was something in there. I also got the new moon like you did, Shari. New moon, full moon energy. So there was somebody or something around you at that time that was keeping secrets from you. And with that full moon and them intervening, it was acting as a cleansing, but it also was preparing you for growth. Because like you said, colorful, that afterwards you got in touch with the metaphysical, you started taking an interest, you started learning. So the timing was for protection, but it was also helping you insist in growing. And this card says surrender, but I'm kind of like seeing these two as okay, here is your consciousness expanding. This is like your higher chakra, and all this information is coming down. It's being kind of like beamed down to you, but it's also being
Yep.
beamed upwards. So I felt that you and your friend were taken as a form of love and protection from something that was not good around you, whether it was an entity, as in an alien entity, or if it was an actual person, or an energy that was nearby, or a spirit in an area that you were passing through. They took you both from that area to prevent anything bad from happening to you.
Yeah.
So it was a cleansing. Whatever you might have gone through or something you started experiencing, they were there to help you.
Yep.
They cleansed that energy off of you, and by doing that, it helped open you up, and it's helping you grow. Okay, let me look back up here. An accident might have been bound to happen. Now that I think about it, I got into the metaphysics soon after, making maybe an awakening of sorts. Yes, okay, then she says, makes sense. So yeah, you had that
Yeah.
awakening. It helped you grow. Kind of like what Scott refers to as kind of like a download. You were, not, I'm not saying exposed, but you were opened up by them stepping in to protect you. And I think this might be one of your spirit guides too. Um, for them, because at that point, for them to intervene, they were part of your spirit team. So that helped protect you, but also opened you up to new ideation as well, and to surrender any limiting beliefs that you had, and it helped prepare you to grow. What was protecting
That
us
went
is
well.
great.
Yeah, that went well with what
Yeah.
I had. So I just keep getting protection more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because there was something nearby or around them, or whether energetic wise, an actual human or something else, but um, it wasn't good, and they were there and kept them safe.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of getting like a soul contract, um, with these individuals,
that makes
um,
sense. Yeah.
that they were there because they can interfere so much, because we do have, you know, um, divine, not divine will, but I can't, why am I can't thinking of the word.
I hate it when I do that.
But when
Like
we have
earlier when I was
choice,
sitting there and I was stuck,
yeah,
it was like I couldn't. It's like
um,
when you get plugged in,
well, we have
it's like the rest of your brain
control.
stops
We have our own.
working.
We can make our own decisions. We have. That's weird. That word is that sentence. That phrase is always coming right off my tongue, and when I need it, no, it's not there. Free will.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sharon. It hit me as a, we have the free will, but I think at this point, this was already. I think on some level, at some point in your life or before you came down, that they were there to protect you when the time was needed, which
Yeah,
allowed you to open up, and start learning and know that they are there now, and just to put back out there, okay, I know you're there. I know you're my guides. I know you protected me. Thank you. And I'm open to, receiving any guided messages, that you have, or any information, and to help me. But yeah, they were there to protect you.
yeah.
Yep.
That's the
Embracing
strongest
free will.
impression I got was just protection.
Yeah. I hate when that happens, when I'm like, oh, and I go to say something and it's completely gone.
Yeah, and it's
And
and
then
it's
I'm like,
gone. It
everyone's
just
like
goes.
crickets, and people in the chat are going, thinking, yeah, Heather, what? What? And I'm like,
I love it when all of a sudden they start throwing in words and phrases. Everybody trying to help you finish your sentence. And
yep, just like
it's
Tracy
like
and Sharon.
eventually you read one and you're like, "That's the word I'm looking for."
Yep.
Uh,
Oh, all righty. Yes, Priscilla, good night. Yes, thank you for coming. Thank you for letting Sherry and I read for you. It was a
Thank you
pleasure.
very much. We enjoyed your company tonight.
Yes. And thank you, Sherry, for jumping on kind of last minute. Like you
You're
said, I was
more
getting
than
an itch
welcome.
too. Cards were
Like I said,
calling.
after talking with Mark last night, we had such a good reading that I was like chomping at the bit, wanting to jump on and do something, and to the point where I was like, well, maybe I'll just go by myself and just see what happens. And then I got the email from you, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. See, Spirit knew exactly what I needed.
Hilda wanted a card, but she has to go too. Okay. Well, Hilda, next time remind
Next
me
time, darling. Yeah,
or one of us, wherever on a live, that would like a message, and I'll make sure that when I
for
see you in
sure.
chat, I'll get it to you. So
Very
yes,
much
good
so.
night, Serena. Good night to everybody. Thank you, and thank you, Sherry. Mwah.
Thank you, Heather, for everybody. Thank you for
And
inviting me.
and
And
enjoy your weekend. Everybody have a safe weekend.
I still got to do my nails, and then I got to do laundry, and
Uh,
I got class
laundry.
tomorrow because I'm taking that shamanistic journeying class with Danny.
Oh, Danny Shay.
Yeah, Danny's doing
Wow.
it. So the first class was Tuesday night, second class is tomorrow, and then again on Tuesday night, and then next Saturday. So it's just a 2 week
Oh.
class. It's not real long, but our first uh, guided meditation that he walked us through, and normally I just don't get a whole lot when I do those.
Mhm.
I guess because I can't get my brain to shut down long enough to let it take effect.
Yep.
But I actually started like really zoning in to what he's describing, and then next thing I knew, I was like flying. I was like, "Oh my God, this is kind of cool." Yeah. And when we came out of it, I was like, "Is it normal to fly the first time?" He's like, "No."
Ooh, I want to fly.
He says, "That's really cool. We're going to talk about that." So,
Oh,
um,
I want to fly like an eagle.
yeah, there you go. That's what I was thinking of when it happened.
Fly like an eagle.
And
Let my spirit carry me.
I got to figure out how to make a rattle. We're supposed to try to use a rattle or a drum or something for energy. And so it's been racking my brains. It's like, it seems kind of
Do you have any
insulting.
metaphysical stores in the area?
No,
Or
no, I'd
okay,
have to drive a
maybe.
couple hours to get to one. Um,
Mhm.
it's like, I don't know, maybe I'll run to Target or Walmart and go pick up a baby rattle. And then I thought, well, I could always just use an empty
Well, you can
pill
paint
bottle and
it. Just get like a basic baby rattle, and then you can paint it, and maybe
yeah,
paint a decoration on it, or like sticker or collage or
yeah,
something on it, and it'll make it
yeah.
your own.
My first thought was, well, I could take one of my pill bottles and just put a couple of pills in it and just shake that. It makes a rattle sound. And I thought, I don't know, that might be insulting to spirits. So maybe that's not a good idea.
Or
But
just go out and pick up
I've
some
got
like
a
little
whole bunch. I
pebbles or
bought one of
something.
those crystal water bottles from
Hmm.
EQ.
Yep,
And
I have one
so
too.
the bottom is full of amethyst, but they're all like little bitty ones.
Yeah, so put them in your pill bottle
I
and
was thinking, yeah, I might take an
something
empty
and
pill
shake it.
bottle and just put some of those in there, and then I
Mhm.
can use that as a
There you
as a
go.
rattle and something I can use to shake until I can go shopping.
Yeah, money's
Yeah,
tight. I hear
yeah,
you.
money's tight, so I have to get enough
Get
points built
creative.
up.
Tap
Well, I
into
do
that.
like the my points and the inbox dollars stuff, and you
Mm,
can go like click on links or do a survey or this or that or the other,
yeah,
and you
like
build up
Tracy said,
points. Yeah,
sand
there
and
you
pebbles.
go.
Go to your Michaels or something, and you can find like
I didn't
sand.
even
They got
think
the
about
little
that.
pebbles, and you know,
Clam shells with sand and pebbles in it. That's a good idea. And
yep. Stick some feathers on your rattle, even
I
if
don't
it's
have
a
any
baby rattle.
feathers.
Yeah,
Um,
lots of different ideas.
yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. I just have to stop and think about how can I do it and it doesn't cost me any money because I'm
Dollar
broke
store.
right now.
You can find a lot now at the dollar store.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
yep.
got one just right down the street. Um,
I
yeah,
got
so
like three of them within a 3 mile
oh,
radius.
in about a
Of them.
mile and a half, there's probably 3 or 4 of them by me.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I'm kind of in a good centralized area. There's lots of stuff all around, so
And you
that's
have
kind of
and you
nice.
have all that wonderful nature too around you. You're in a really powerful place. So even just a few stones, pebbles from, by the
Yeah,
swamps and
well, and
stuff, that's a lot of energy.
I've got a metal tin box that
Good night,
had river
Tracy.
rocks in it. Just a mishmash of river rocks that I had bought years ago that I use for all kinds of different stuff. So
Yep. Just like Tracy says, whatever you make, just own it and go with it.
yep. And my son's got all the paint, so it's just taking a brush and paint from him. And
I was gonna say, if we were neighbors, I have a ton of paint. I'll just be like, come on over. Let's paint. That's crap.
that's it. Well, he's the artist, not me. I can't make stick people. So I mean, I am
Don't go
arts and,
there with me, Shari. Don't go
I am
there
arts
with
and
me.
crafts
You know you're
challenged.
gonna get it.
I am arts and crafts challenged. Yes, I'm the first to admit. But that's okay because I can look at other people's stuff and go, that's it. Or yeah, maybe you need to work on that a little bit more, So
Yeah, still here, Heather. I know, Tracy. I was looking up and I didn't realize more message, and I looked down. I went, oops, I just said goodbye to her and she's still in chat. So, okay. On that note,
we're gonna fan ourselves out the
Yep.
door.
Everybody have a safe and beautiful weekend wherever you are. And we will catch you on the flip side. Say.
Bye.
Bye.